All right. First and foremost, we give all praise, honor, and glory, of course, to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Christ. The topic of today's lesson will be the woman not to be, or the woman you should never be, rather. That's what I titled. The woman you should never be. That's the title of today's lesson. So we're going to go over some stuff here in the scriptures. Salakia, hold on. Hakah, I unmuted you.
Con.
So yeah, whenever you go. But so yeah, we'll go over some scriptures that really describe very negative things women could do to, convey the message that this is who you should never be according to the Bible. This is how you should never act. These are the things you should never do. This is never how you should think. This is never how you should behave, as what the scriptures say. There's a church word that gets, well, it's not a church word, it's a biblical word, but there's a context that it's used in church. Did you unmute?
I'm here.
Salakia. Well, can you mute because I can hear your background?
Oh, Salakia.
Con, you all good? So, but yeah, so many of y'all have heard the term Jezebel. Oh, she's a Jezebel, and she's got a Jezebel spirit. If you're in the truth, you should never ever use that term. Here's why: because that's not the way it's. If a woman is wicked, she's wicked. That's not Jezebel. Jezebel was a very specific woman who was a very specific kind of evil and type of demon. You know what I'm saying? That existed at a period of time in history in Israel. And the average person that throws around that word Jezebel has no idea who Jezebel is, has not read the history of Jezebel. If you want to read it, it's in the book of Kings, dealing with Elijah. Has no idea about the exploits of Jezebel. Don't know what nation Jezebel comes from. Don't know who Jezebel's husband was, or who Jezebel's husband was, rather. Have no idea. So never use that term Jezebel. Number one, if you're an Israelite woman, you can't be Jezebel. Here's why. She wasn't an Israelite. That was a Hamitic woman, a Canaanite woman. So you can't be Jezebel. So I want to make that understood clear as we move forward. Get that Jezebel talk out of here. I see people using it in the truth when that's a damn Christian concept. Oh, she's a Jezebel. She's not a Jezebel. Jezebel murdered prophets and taught idolatry. Jezebel didn't walk around with a spaghetti strap shirt on. Damn old people in the church, black woman walking around with a spaghetti strap damn shirt on, they call her a Jezebel. Jezebel was a murderer and an idolater and a heathen. All right? So if you're not those things, you can't be Jezebel or in the Jezebel spirit. That's absolutely ridiculous. But we're going to get into real wickedness and real wicked attributes and traits that a woman can have. We're going to go into the Bible on it. And we're also going to read about the most wicked woman in Israelite history as well. That's going to be at the end. Okay? So we can see what the actual most wicked Israelite woman in the Bible is. It's not Jezebel, of course, because, again, she wasn't an Israelite. Right? D, can you read?
Count out of one.
Okay. Let's start with Sirach 25, and we're going to read 13 and then skip to 17.
I don't got that on the app. Let me pull it up in the search.
Con.
You said verse 13?
13 and skip to 17.
All right, Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 13 says, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman.
So as we can see here, there is a wickedness of women that is especially and specifically wicked. The type of evil that a sister has the power and ability to commit is the worst type of evil and wickedness that can be committed. That's what we first have to understand. This is why it's so important for sisters to choose the path of righteousness and to do what's right in the sight of the Most High. Because if you don't choose that path and you rather choose wickedness, the type of wickedness that you will go on to commit is the greatest wickedness that can be committed. All right? So skip down to 17 now.
Verse 17. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face, and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth.
You see that? The wickedness of a woman changes her. It changes the way that you're perceived. When a woman is out here being a hoe, if you're a man, and let's say you're dealing with a woman, right? You're dealing with a woman, and this woman go run off on you, and she starts just being a hoe. She's not only is she got some man on the side, I mean, she's just out being a straight hoe. It's going to change your perception of her. It's going to change the way she looks. It's going to change the beauty that you once saw, and it's going to make you look at her like she's hideous. You see what I'm saying? That's what the wickedness of a woman could do. It could change no matter how fine you is. It can make you look ugly. Like they got this damn woman. Anybody know me know I'm a huge fanatic of the show Power. Watched Power last night. And what's crazy is when I'm watching the show, they got Lala on the show. If y'all know Lala Anthony, Carmelo Anthony's wife, just extraordinarily beautiful Ephraimite sister. Anyway, they got her on the show being hoeing around with Esau. And the way that they're portraying her on the show, it is literally, according to how I view it, me as the beholder in this situation, it's literally making her ugly to me. Now, if I see her off the show, I don't have that look. But the way they got her character played and hoeing around with Esau and just degrading her, it literally is making me perceive her as ugly. You see what I'm saying? That's just a brief example of that. That was it on 17?
God.
Let's go to Luke 17 and 32 now. So I just wanted to lay the foundation with those scriptures of how important it is for a woman not to commit wickedness and what the wickedness of a woman does to her, the drawback that it has upon herself. It could drastically change the way that you're perceived, by the people that are important, right? So yeah, whenever you got it, Luke 17 and 32.
Luke 17 and 32. Remember Lot's wife.
It say that's all Christ said. Remember Lot's wife. This is what is that? Remember Lot's. That scripture is 3 words, and we got to understand how powerful them 3 words are. Remember Lot's wife. What did Lot's wife do? As Sodom is being destroyed, she looks back. And this is such a clear message that this is one of the few lessons that I was ever taught in 17 years at the Catholic Church. In 17 years in the Catholic Church, I don't remember a lot of Bible verses and a lot of breakdowns on Bible verses. But I surely remember, I believe it was the deacon of the church, deacon of the Catholic Church, when I was a kid, going into Remember Lot's wife. And what did Lot's wife do? She looked back at Sodom as it was destroyed. What would compel her and possess her to violate the commandment of the Lord and look back at Sodom as it was being destroyed? That, of course, subsequently led to her being turned to a pillar of salt. What would possess her to do that? The fact that she kind of missed Sodom. She was going to miss Sodom. She was going to miss all that happened. And, of course, Sodom, we, of course, look at Sodom as a place of sodomy, right, as a place of homosexuality. It wasn't just limited to homosexuality. There was all kind of aspects of hedonism and greed and various other sexual deviancy that took place in Sodom. Not all of it was homosexual. It was just a place of hedonism, a place where you just indulge deeply into the lusts of your flesh and, all kind of inordinate things. Much like America, which is why America is Sodom. That's why this place is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Right? So she looked back at that. She was going to miss that. She looked back at the world, and a little bit of her longed for the world and was going to miss the world. So what is the lesson that we learn from that? You as a woman should never long for the world. You as a woman should never long for the things that the world has promised you, because this world is set up to benefit you more than it is to benefit your man. When I say your man, it don't even got to necessarily be your husband. It's just the Israelite man. It's set up to benefit you more. It's set up to give you more perks. It's set up to cater to you. Because we have to go back to what happened in the garden. In the garden, we got Eve. The serpent slithers up on Eve, right, and starts to tell Eve all these things that sound so good to her, that cater to her lower self, that cater to her fleshly wants and desires, which is what made her susceptible to accepting the doctrine that was the fruit that he gave to her. That what made her eat the fruit, because she was susceptible to it because it catered to her flesh. In that same way has the white man set up the world that we live in today. Of course, the serpent was not the white man, for the record. But the white man has set up the world that we live in today to, in the same way, cater to you, who is now playing Eve, so you can then poison Adam or separate from him, which is us, the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, in this instance. So this world is set up to be good to you and good for you and benefit you, right?
Yeah, you got Isaiah 3:12, or can I bring that out real quick?
I don't. So go ahead, bring it out.
Yeah, this is Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. It says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them." Just going back to the point how this whole world is set up to benefit the woman, and they started systematically doing this even in the ancient times. But when you fast forward to modern times, during the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, even for other nationalities like white people, they took the man off the job when there was a man that was able to provide for the whole house. Now they got it to where, the whole damn, as soon as your kid turns 16 years old, his ass got to get a job at the grocery store, and the whole house has to work in order for you guys to survive. So this whole society is being set up that a woman could rule over their household, which is the upside down kingdom that Isaiah spoke about.
That's right. That's a powerful point. That's the whole truth. We can see it. You see what I'm saying? That's why the most educated, quote unquote educated, demographic of people in the United States of America right now are black women. Black women is in school more than white men and white women. Black men, more than anybody, is a black woman in school. So then what do they say? If you go to school, you get educated in these various areas, and you get, you advance further into the job market, things of that nature. Not always, of course, because even to a degree that's a scam and a sham. But sisters are going out there and moving and shaking in the world, because it's a little bit easier for sisters to do it than men to do it. You see what I'm saying? But the things of this world are set up to capture the desires of everybody, but in specifics, more so than anybody, women. Right? So with that being said, Lot's wife looking back at Sodom is the same as you looking back into the world. And you kind of missing and longing and craving for the benefits and the perks and the things that the world had to offer you over what the Most High has to offer you. Now, the thing is, we're on a path to that salvation, the same path that Lot and his family was on, escaping Sodom and Gomorrah. But it was uncertain. They didn't see it, but they trusted in that word. Everybody except his wife, which is why she didn't make it out. So you got to trust in that word that the Most High is giving you, that has promised you salvation if you follow his direct instruction. And you on that path must follow his instruction. and walk according to the way he has commanded you to walk, or face the destruction that Lot's wife faced when she looked back at the world, or literally Sodom, but in the figurative sense, the world. Don't look back at that world. That's the woman you should not be. You should not be the woman who's looking back at the world. Deacon Hakaj came to me and told me that sisters have come to him and essentially, in a nutshell, told him that yes, they know they're Hebrew Israelites. Yes, they know what's right is right, but they still are going to deal with an Edomite man. Am I right, Dick?
Con. Well, she was saying that nothing but bad happens when she deals with black men. I'm not going to get into the particulars, but every time she deals with a black man, something bad happens. So she knows she's a Hebrew Israelite. She knows what the verdict, what the judgment will be, but she still wants to deal with a Edomite man. And she also believes that all things have been fulfilled. So maybe that's part of the reason why she's bugged out.
You see what I'm saying? She looked back at the world. She being Lot's wife. Don't be Lot's wife. Remember what she did and don't do what she did. And look forward to the kingdom and keep your eye on the prize. That's the lesson Yahweh Shai was teaching us there. Let's now go to Job 2 and 9 to 10.
Job chapter 2, verse 9. But I will sacrifice unto thee with the voice of thanksgiving. I will pay that I have vowed. Salvation is of the Lord. And the Lord spake unto the fish, and it vomited. I'm sorry.
Where you at?
Me Jonah.
Oh, okay, Con.
I don't know why Jonah pulled up.
I see the fish. I said, wait a minute, that's Jonah.
Okay, here we go. Job chapter 2, verse 9. Then said his wife unto him, Dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die.
You see that? This woman said, man, you still keeping your integrity, meaning in this case, keeping the faith in God? Just curse God and die, man. To hell with integrity, right? Go ahead.
Verse 10. But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh.
You see that? That was a foolish statement she made. She was being a foolish woman. And that's these women of the world. No integrity. When times get tough, they want to just act like it's God's fault. And they want you to falter and you to fail and your knees to damn buckle and you to stop having faith and integrity. Never be what Job's wife was in this instance. Never be her. Always encourage your man to maintain and be steadfast in his faith. And maintain his integrity. And maintain his dignity as a man, as an Israelite man. Always be there to give him those words that encourage him to do that. Never tell him and ridicule him for keeping his integrity. Never tell a brother to curse the Most High. That's who you should never be, because that's a damn foolish woman. I ain't even going to disrespect her, because ultimately she got her damn act together because she got blessed right along with Job. But in this instance, she had a moment of extreme weakness. Why? Because we know the term effeminate deals with women, but what effeminate really means is a lack of faith. So what we have to understand is naturally women in your nature are set up to have a lack of faith. So it's that much more important for y'all to have faith, because your nature makes you have a lack of it. And it was exposed right there here in Job 2. Go ahead, finish that out.
It says, What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we receive not evil? And all this did not Job sin with his lips.
You see that? He wouldn't curse God. He wouldn't sin with his lips because he had sense. He was a very sensible brother. He said, man, we received plenty of good. I got blessed by the Most High. Shall I not receive evil? Like I'm just unworthy of punishment from God, or I'm unworthy of the Most High to allow whatever happened to happen. We're all worthy of punishment and death from the Most High. All of us. All right? So when times get tough, don't fold like Job's wife did. Stay strong and steadfast. Don't be as the foolish women. Give me Proverbs 9 and 13. We're going to explore this concept a little bit deeper in the scriptures, what exactly a foolish woman is. And what are the characteristics and traits of a foolish woman? Because ultimately, that's the woman you should never be. Be the woman we talked about last week, the virtuous woman of Proverbs 31. Do not be the foolish woman that we get ready to read about here in Proverbs 9. Go ahead.
Speak about it. Speak about it. Proverbs chapter 9, verse 13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing.
So that's the first thing we need to know about a foolish woman. All she do is run her mouth, but she don't know what the hell she's talking about. And that's what Job's wife showed there. She didn't know what the hell she was talking about. That's why Job cut her. Shall we not receive good and evil? Are you stupid? What's wrong with you? You're running your damn mouth, but you don't know what you're talking about. That's the first sign of a foolish woman. If you're always talking, but you don't know what you're talking about, shut the hell up and stop being foolish. Plain and simple. If you're a woman, when you open your mouth, make sure you know what the hell you're talking about. And that don't just go for women, but this is a women's class geared to women, so I'm going to gear it to you. That goes to anybody, though. If you don't know what the hell you're talking about, shut the hell up. That's all over the Bible, right? That's it on 13?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to 14 and 1, still in Proverbs.
Still at 9?
No, 14 and 1 in Proverbs. The 14th chapter, first verse.
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house. I'm sorry, I just got distracted, man. There's 9 Edomites. There's about 10 Edomites and 1 token black woman. So I just
don't be her.
A foolish woman. A foolish woman just walks by me, man. So that is a distraction. Okay, yeah. Proverbs chapter 14.
And you can only imagine the type of stuff them white girls say when she's not around, especially about her hair. Oh God, I would like to be a fly on the wall to hear what those white girls say about their token black friend's hair all the time.
They're leaving her. They're leaving her. So they're all walking out of a restaurant. She walks out, the last one in the group. She left like her phone on the table or something, I guess. Meanwhile, nobody waited for her. They're all the way down the block while she's running to catch up to him.
You see that? Never be that woman. That's who you should definitely never be. I think the sisters on this line have enough.
God.
Go ahead.
You ready? Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house.
Buildeth her house. We read about how a woman built her house last week, Proverbs 31. See Proverbs 31 if you want to know how to build your house. Go ahead.
It says, but the foolish woman plucketh it down.
You see that?
With her hands.
With her hands. A foolish woman destroys her house. Go to 19 and 3 still in Proverbs. A foolish woman destroys her house. These different things, being loudmouth, being divisive, being disrespectful, being evil to your kids, this destroys your house. And this is why so many black households are in shambles. In part, this is part of the reason. Some black households are in shambles because a woman destroyed the house. Some are in shambles because of things men did or things collectively they did, etc. But again, we're focusing on sisters. Some households are destroyed because a woman destroyed them. You have a great power bestowed upon you and a great ability to either build a house or destroy a house. Number one, your name, a woman is symbolized by the symbol of a house, right? So we have to understand that power of that house, a lot of it's got to do with you. But go ahead, 19 and 3.
Time. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 3. The foolishness of a man perverteth his way, and his heart fretteth against the Lord.
That's Proverbs 19:3?
Con.
Okay, hold on. That's not what I needed. Maybe 19:13. Salakia. It's like right here. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think it's nowhere in 19.
Yeah, I just right here. Hold on. I know what I know the keyword. It's 19:13. That's what it is. 19:13.
Do me a favor, read it for me real quick.
Okay. Proverbs 19:13. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. And that goes with a foolish wife with her hands pulls down her household, because dropping, what it means is like when a roof starts to cave in. That's the dropping, when it starts to decay. So that's literally pulling down your household. So a foolish woman, through her contentions, through her fighting and giving her husband hell, that destroys her house. That drops through her house. You understand what I'm saying? That causes decay to come upon her house. So don't be that contentious woman, that brawling woman, that disrespectful woman, that undermining woman, that, what's the word I'm looking for? Vindictive woman. Don't be that woman, because that woman, through her vindictiveness and through her contentions and through the strife that she's constantly bringing to her husband, she's destroying her house. She's making her husband hate her guts. She's making her kids, they can't stand her. Everybody in the damn house is going to turn against her ass because of her contentions. She's destroying her house. She's making people flee out of her. Her husband never home. Kids don't ever want to be home because her ass is in the house being a damn demon. Never be that one, right? Go to you good now, Ak?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Proverbs 21:19 now.
All right, Proverbs chapter 21, verse 19. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman.
You see that? That woman is the worst woman that you can be. And unfortunately, that's the stigma that is put on a lot of sisters. Right there. A lot of black and Hispanic women are perceived to be this way and are depicted and portrayed in media to be this way. And what does that portrayal lead to? It leads to you embodying that, because it's constantly putting your face that that's who you're supposed to be. So what do? You become that person. And that's a person who destroys her household. And through the destruction of her household, everybody in that household is destroyed. The black man, the black woman, the black children are destroyed, because that stigma is put out there for you to be like, the white man knows what he's doing. The white woman is never depicted like that. But black and Hispanic women are always depicted like that.
Namely the Latin woman. The persona of a black woman and a Latin woman is, you're gonna get an ear full of contentious talk and yelling and screaming, and it's gonna make you not want to be there. And then you're caught in the catch-22, because she's gonna make you not want to be there, and then when you're not there, she's gonna have a problem with you not being there. So you can't win for losing.
Yep. The devil knows what the hell he's doing. I'm going to tell you that right now. The devil knows. And he's doing it well. And we now have to begin to spiritually understand that we're in the spiritual warfare, and we need to spiritually combat it through the spirit of Prophet Yahweh. And how, sisters, how you do it is by defying all stereotypes that the white man constantly is trying to superimpose upon you and be the woman that the Most High told you to be in the scriptures, right? That was it on that.
If I can say this,
go ahead.
If I can say this too, how the Apostle Paul, he said, we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and tearing down strongholds. Now, strongholds are not limited to doctrine. Strongholds are also stereotypes that are placed upon the Israelite man and the Israelite woman. And like the brother said, you got to defy them and you got to tear those down as well.
Yeah, every just the same way that every brother didn't have to be a drug dealer. You see what I'm saying? Unfortunately, some of us were, but that don't mean every brother is a gangster and a thug and a dope dealer. You see what I'm saying? But that's what's portrayed out there. So we got to defy those stereotypes, you see? And that's the thing, even now that we're not, even some of us that used to be that, now that we're not, we don't allow nobody to superimpose that on us. You see, I remember one time me and the deacon was out, at this bar, and this devil walked up to me and asked me where he can get an 8-ball of cocaine. Oh, so damn, I'm just the person in this bar that's got the cocaine, right? You see that? But he believes in the stereotype.
And we was watching the Pacquiao Floyd fight at the Hooters in Mission Valley.
God.
And then I think I put out my money. I wanted to make a bet. Or something, and she whispered to one of our waitresses and was like, "These guys probably deal drugs."
Yeah, these guys are drug dealers. Yeah, and we read her mouth, we read her lips.
Right, God. So that's a stereotype.
God, you see that? A nigga got money, he sells dope. That's just it. He can't. Them niggas can't have jobs. That's ludicrous. You see that? We got to supersede the stereotype. Because you can't come to us and tell us, I don't give a damn how much you say we sell dope. Where's the dope? You see? We teach the scriptures on the corner. We don't sell dope anymore. So we got to, like the brother said, supersede them stereotypes. We got to go to Sirach now. Sirach 25 and 18.
Time. Ecclesiasticus. Okay, here we go. Why is it taking so long? Hold up. I don't want to pull up Slovakia. I need to get that King James. App. I don't know.
What would you talking about? Yeah, I don't really. I think I got an app on my phone, but I don't even use it. I just go right to the internet.
Hold on. 1 second.
Come.
I don't know why am I? Okay, here we go. I had to refresh it. What verse?
25. We're gonna skip around in 25, but start at 18.
Time. Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 18. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sigh bitterly.
You see that? That wicked woman's husband can't stand her. When she call his phone, when she yell his name, he sighs bitterly because he's in damn hell being with her. Don't be her. Don't be the woman whose man feels like that.
Yeah, and you see it on the movies. Remember, you see it on the movies, like you're out on the porch chilling with, your brothers, your friends, and you hear that loud noise of a woman calling your name, and you sigh bitterly like, man, let me go see what this girl wants.
What the hell does she want, man? Damn. Can't get a moment's peace. You see what I'm saying?
That's the nagger and antagonist.
Con. Yeah, that's right. Talk about it. Skip to verse 20.
Con. Verse 20. As the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man.
You see that? As The climbing up of a sandy way to the feet of the aged. Imagine an old, arthritic man or woman, it don't matter with either one, walking around with a cane or a walker, trying to climb up a damn sand dune. Imagine how difficult and painful that would be for them. In the same way it is for a brother to be pained with the constant nagging and complaining of a woman. You see that? So never be her. Skip to 23 and read 23 and 24.
Verse 23. A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh an heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees.
You see that? All those are the things that a wicked woman does. Note that in your mind and just don't be that. Don't be her. Simple and plain. Skip to the next chapter of Sirach and read 7 and 8 during the 26th chapter.
Sirach 26, verse 7. An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro.
It's a yoke. Hold on. It's a yoke. So when you're being an evil wife, when you're being this wicked, contentious, strifeful woman, it's like the man is in slavery. He's got a yoke on his neck, and then he's being shaken. You got him enslaved, and then you just messing with him. Don't. That's, my old ball and chain. Don't be her.
Right. Yeah, we got a brother going through something similar to that in this camp, and he's doing everything right, man, and she just won't lighten up the yoke. It's like when these devils took us to jail a couple of weeks ago, and they put the cuffs double tight. Well, you had the black officer, so she showed you some mercy. She
loosened me up.
Man, I had this damn coon Mexican and this devil, and they just had my cuffs on tight. They might have put double cuffs on me. I'm not even flexible.
It was the sergeant's cuffs. That's what it was. They're specially tight.
Right, and so that's how a woman who's not giving her man courage and comforting him in the time of his distress. I mean, this brother lost his job. This brother lost his housing, and his woman is still not loosening the cuffs, loosening the ball and chain. Don't be that woman.
Which is again what a lot of sisters have become, unfortunately. And it's almost like a brother be getting with a woman and expecting her to be like that. You got to transcend that, But go ahead.
It says, I'm going to read it again. Sirach 26, verse 7. An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that hath hold of her is as though he held a scorpion.
Ooh. Don't be a damn scorpion, man. Don't be stinging your husband, you see? Go ahead.
Verse 8. A drunken woman.
Ooh,
and
a drunken woman. Some of you women is drunk, but hey, listen, a lot of sisters are. This brother, he knows. You go down here around these clubs, man, you see these drunk, stupid, sloppy hoes out here. Don't be that. Go ahead. Now, that don't mean the sister can't have her some wine or whatever. By no means are we saying that. But don't be a damn lush drunk. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that too. I must. If I don't, I would be remiss not to say this. There's some women who when they come to the truth, they get off the hard alcohol and the strong drink, and they transcend to wine, right? But I know some women in this truth where they become drunken winos. So it's not necessarily you choosing one spirit over another, as they call it. It's the consumption, It's the consistency. It's the spirit that you're in. It's what you're out doing.
That's right. It's the moderation too, because moderation is, moderation varies per individual. Some people have a higher tolerance than others, so it's about knowing your tolerance, knowing your limits, doing things in moderation, like brother said. And then what are you out? If you're a sister in this truth, you have no business at a goddamn nightclub. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Stay out the damn club and gathering abroad.
Look at it.
Right?
Look about it.
You going to damn Applebee's to catch a drink with your girlfriend. That's one thing, all right? The nightclub is an entirely different monster that you have no business in. I'll say that of a certainty, right? But go ahead.
Con. Verse 8, a drunken woman and a gatter abroad. I don't think we elaborated on the gatter abroad.
Oh, and that's what that gatter, you out in the streets, drunk. If you go to listen, we slide, what's tonight, Sunday night? It's reggae night downtown San Diego tonight. We go downtown San Diego about 2 in the morning. We're going to see plenty of black women and Hispanic women drunk and getting abroad and not covering their shame. They done danced their damn track out. Half the makeup is dripped off their damn face. They stinking. Their clothes is sideways on them. And they just got an ear-to-ear smile. That's the woman you should never be. Go ahead.
Powerful, brother. Powerful. It says, causes great anger, and she will not cover her own shame.
Because your own shame ain't covered. And imagine I'm your man, and I got to pick you up from a damn nightclub, and you're sloppy drunk, and your makeup is halfway melted off your damn face, and your damn track is out showing, and your clothes are sloppy, and you're the woman that I love. I'll be outraged. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I'm out. That's when a nigga just pop up. And and the thing is, some of these women out here, y'all go out and get drunk, and you know one of your homegirls got a nigga at home that's just crazy. Right? I'm the nigga that's just crazy. I'm popping up. I might have a pistol when I'm playing. Like, what the hell is y'all out here doing? I have to pick one of these women up, throw them over your shoulder, throw her in the damn car, and curse her ass out because she didn't cover her shame. Cover your damn shame.
Hey, if I can say this was years ago. You don't even know what year it was. That's none of your damn business.
That's damn right.
But I remember I seen my woman I was just driving.
Oh, I know this story.
I was out at night. I was out during the nightlife, and I was driving by a club, and I sees my woman, and I'll tell you guys what, it turned into a Channel 4 News high-speed chase. me chasing her down in her car while I'm in my car, and so I can understand, and she had just the skimpiest thing on, and I'm so glad those years are over with. But it just goes to show you that everything that the Bible is saying is true, how a woman is and how it makes her man feel. And that's why the moral of this women's class today is don't be that woman.
That's a powerful point, like you said, because we got to understand that when you become one flesh, you are now a representation of your husband. You see what I'm saying? So it's a bad look. If you, my girl, anything that is bad on you, it's even more bad on me. You see what I'm saying? It's even more bad. So man, I can tell some damn stories. Like, now you brought that story, all kind of stories coming to my mind. But the point is, just don't be that, right? So that was it on 8. Okay. Make sure you keep that tab open because we're going to come right back to Sirach 26. But first, let's go to Titus 2 and 3 to 5.
Titus chapter 2, verse 3 to 5. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. not false accusers, not given to much wine.
There you go. That's the point. Not giving them much wine. Go ahead.
Teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed.
Boom, right there. You should be that and not what was described in Sirach. That gatherer brought in that drunken woman. The typical sister now in the world is everything that Titus told you not to be. You need to be what Titus told you to be, and not these women in the world. That's the point. Let's go back to Sirach 26 and read the 6th verse.
All right, back in Sirach 26, verse 6.
Come.
But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman.
You see that? Another thing that you shouldn't be, and I know this is going to be the hardest thing for you not to be. Out of everything we talked about tonight, this is going to be the most challenging aspect, and that is jealousy. You have to work on not being jealous. Go ahead.
It says, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all.
You see that? Because that's what you're going to do when you're jealous. You're going to have that scornful tongue. You can see when a woman is jealous because you can see how she begins to talk about the woman that she's jealous of. And that's very unattractive. Right? Let's go to Numbers 5 and read 14 to 15. Because we're going to understand something. A woman ain't got no business being jealous. And also what a woman does not have business doing is making her man jealous. A man has a right to be jealous. And you making your husband jealous is actually a sin. And I'm going to show it to you in the Bible. So read that 14 to 15 there in Numbers.
Numbers chapter 5, verse 14. And the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled, or if the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled.
You see that? So if I'm jealous of you, and I think you're creeping around, or I think you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, whether you have done it or not, read.
Then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest, and he shall bring her offering for her, the 10th part of an ephah of barley meal.
What does that mean?
No oil.
He shall bring an offering, her offering. What does that mean? You don't bring an offering unless you sinned. So why does a woman have an offering on her behalf? Because she sinned in the fact that her husband is jealous. Her making her husband jealous is her sinning against her husband, and a sin worthy of a 10th part of an ephah to be brought to the priest as a sacrifice on behalf of her sin, even if she didn't do anything wrong. So you over here getting jealous, you're not realizing that any jealousy that you could bring upon your husband to make him feel jealous is an actual sin. That's what you need to be more worried about than your petty jealousies. Right? So go ahead.
It says, he shall pour no oil upon it, nor put frankincense thereon, for it is an offering of jealousy, an offering of memorial, bringing iniquity to remembrance.
You see that? Sin. Iniquity is sin. You sinned when you made your husband jealous. That's what you did. You over here get jealous, not realizing that a man could, not you get jealous of another woman when it's according to the law that a man can have more than one woman. Not realizing that if you make your husband the least bit jealous, you sin. You literally sinned. And when you start getting jealous over another woman, in part that goes back to Lot's wife, and I'm going to explain why. Because in the world that you keep looking back at, a man can only have one woman. And he's a cheater if he has another woman. But in truth, in the world that you look into, the kingdom, he can have more than one woman because God said so, and you know that, and you playing with yourself. And you looking back at the world when you start acting like that, getting jealous. Meanwhile, you'll realize you make your damn husband jealous, you sinned. Start worrying about that than what the next girl got going on. You know? You had something to say on that, Doc?
Nah,
I was going to get into this, but what I'm going to do is, in addition to Judith, I know sisters is reading Judith, but y'all need to check out, y'all need to also read 2 Kings 11, just the 11th chapter. It's not too long, but I think it's a little bit too much to really get into it right now. We try to keep these classes under an hour. We coming right up on an hour. So read 2 Kings, the 11th chapter. 2 Kings, the 11th chapter will tell you about the most wicked Israelite woman to ever live. I think her name is Abithalah, something like that. And she tried to usurp authority and power in Israel and committed murders to do it. And she was the only queen that was ever in Israel. And if you see why, you understand why no Israelite woman should ever be called a queen. Okay, because the only time an Israelite woman was viewed in our society now as a queen rather, was by wicked and evil devices, and she got judged severely and righteously for it. So if you want to see about the most wicked Israelite woman who her greatest wickedness was a lust for power, 2 Kings, the 11th chapter is where you can do so. Of course, keep on reading in Judith as well if you haven't finished, or if you have finished, you read it again. But check out 2 Kings 11 as well. Next week, we're going to be doing, in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be doing sister spotlights. Next week, we're going to do a spotlight study on Abigail. And then the next week, which will be the final week of the women's course, we're going to spotlight Judith and go to some highlighted portions of the book of Judith, which y'all been reading over. So that's what the next 2 weeks will look like. With that, of course, we give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahshua. I'm going to open up the line for questions.
Hey, go ahead. Can you leave me unmuted for Q&A?
Con, of course.
Last time I was muted.
Okay, Salakia. I don't know. I'll make sure if it does mute you, I'll make sure to unmute you. Yeah, okay. *6 will unmute you for Q&A. We're gonna open up Q&A. Okay, yeah. See, when I start that, it mute you. So here we go. You are unmuted now, Ak. But yeah, okay.
Okay, you got me.
Perfect. Con.
All right.
So yeah. Any questions? Go ahead, shoot. Sister *6. Okay, 214. Go ahead.
Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. If you're married and your wife left you with 4 children, and you find a new maiden that you've married, and the wife chooses to come back, do I have to accept her?
If she didn't commit adultery against you, you have to accept her.
What about if I don't know? What about if she's out getting drunk with her friends and everything? I don't know if it's how can I put it? If she is I don't know if there's some lesbian activity going on, you know?
Okay. If you don't have proof that she did it and she's telling you she didn't do it, that's all we can go off of at this time. So until you got proof otherwise, you have to take her at her word.
All right, thank you. Shalom.
No problem. Shalom. Okay, 334, go ahead.
Hi. Is it considered nagging or exerting authority over your husband if you're, I guess, quote unquote, nagging about him keeping the law if he's not in the truth?
I mean, it may be considered nagging, but that may not be unrighteous nagging. You know what I'm saying? You know, there may just be another way for you to go about it that may be a little bit more expedient. and they may get through. But I understand what you're doing, so I don't want to tell you what you're necessarily doing is wrong because you're trying to encourage him to do something right. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes that may be hard to get through. So you may want to soften it a little bit and try to think of other mechanisms to try to encourage the brother to keep the law.
How would you suggest going about it? Because
Well, can I say something quick?
Go ahead.
Disrespectful.
Of course. Well, go ahead.
I would say for one, fast and pray and intercede for him. Because the nigga's hard-headed.
True indeed.
You know, Christ said only certain things can happen by fasting and prayer.
True indeed. Like a quick question: is he still asking you to cook unlawful foods?
No, he's quote unquote submitted to that, but it's just he's really fighting me about celebrating Christmas, and he's really fighting me about, well, I don't see anything wrong with celebrating our moms. I'm not going to be in a house doing that, and now it's come to the point where I guess we're married by, the scripture's definition of marriage, but now it's come to the point where he's like, okay, I want to be engaged to you, but I don't know how we're going to raise children because I don't feel comfortable telling my mother that she can't buy our children things for Christmas, and things like that. Yeah, so, and we've been together 2 years, and we came into the truth together, and we've been on the same track, but like over the past 5 months or so, he's been kind of like, looking at me crazy anytime I want to have any kind of in-depth conversation about the Bible. And anytime I say, hey, let's read the Bible, he looks at me crazy. So I'm trying to find a way to go about it because nobody wants to start over after 2 years. Of
course not. That's an investment. You see what I'm saying? This is that's you're in a tough place right now. But like your brother said, that's the most sound advice that we can give you is fasting and prayer. That the brother will advance a little bit more in the understanding. It's quite unusual that y'all come in together and then he just kind of starts backsliding as you progressing. That's kind of like the last thing you want to happen. So, like your brother said, try with some prayer and fasting, over a period of time, and kind of maybe start slowly, and kind of, maybe create. Sometimes you got to play a game of inception. What do I mean by that? Create an environment that you have kind of orchestrated, but is going to lure the other person into talking about the truth. You see what I'm saying? You're not bringing it up now where it's like, oh, here she go again. It's you created an environment where he's had to bring it up. You see what I'm saying? You got to kind of think outside the box. I can't necessarily give you a step-by-step to do it. But, doing things like that may end up being what's going to assist you in, getting where you need to be in your union with your husband. You know what I mean?
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Thank you for that advice. I will definitely try to do that.
No problem, sis. Best of luck. Okay, 810.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom, sis.
My question is about the High Holy Days and the Passover.
Okay.
I'm in Michigan, and Detroit, Michigan, and so I just had a brother from IUIC come to my business today to get his hair relaxed. And he was telling me that even though we don't have a Levite around because we don't know where they are, we are still supposed to keep the High Holy Days. I need to know how am I supposed to do so.
Well, number one, Deep, you got.
I'm here.
Give me Judges 5:11 first and foremost. And anything if you wanted to add anything as well. But
I didn't really.
She's asking about how do we keep the High Holy Days not having the temple in captivity.
For one, we know we're supposed. For one, is he saying that we're not supposed to, or we don't know how to properly?
She's just trying to understand because, you know, we're destitute of some of the necessities that we use to do it. What exactly do we do now?
Okay.
Judges 5 and 11, of course, first and foremost, but anything else you want to add as well?
Okay, Colin. This is Judges chapter 5, verse 11. It says, "They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the place of drawing water," meaning place of drawing water, meaning in the place of our captivity. That's what that symbolizes. It says, "There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall all the people of the Lord go down to the gate."
And that right there is cold because it says, "Rehearse the righteous acts, even as we would when we dwelt in the villages of Israel." So we're in a situation where we are rehearsing as we would do then. Of course, we don't have the temple and the Aaronic priesthood set up to where we go in there and we bring in our sacrifices, etc., etc. But congregating, eating the food, and things of that nature, and calling things into remembrance is a rehearsal of what we would do in the ancient times. So that's essentially what we do on any high holy day now. We get together, we congregate, we feast, and we call in the recollection whatever the Most High, you know, has deemed for that specific day that we're bringing into remembrance. So kind of more so we're doing like memorials and rehearsals for what the kingdom would be like and what we used to do in commemorating those high holy days. Make sense?
Yeah, I have a picture of the annual festivals of God that I got off Google. Is that are those dates accurate for the high holy days?
I honestly I would probably say no. Being that we don't follow the Jewish calendar, because the Jewish calendar predicates itself upon the what is that? Is it the equinox or the solstice? It's the equinox. It predicates itself upon the equinox, which is all of that deals with Babylonian traditions to predicate things off the equinoxes and things of that nature. So I would say the dates are accurate. If you want to take a look at the calendar that we follow, if you go to Exodus1715.info and you click on calendar, it'll have all the dates for all the high holy days in accordance to how we're following it for the rest of this year.
Okay.
So that's all you had, or what? You had some more?
I think I did have. No, I think that's it.
That's it? You got anything? Go ahead. You can shoot now.
I'm trying to think. Okay, you're looking at this calendar. This year Passover? What date was Passover?
What we had Passover? March. I want to say it was like March 8th, something like that. Let me look. Let me confirm.
It was like March 20.
No, it was the 20. Hold on, let me see. No, it was the 11th. It was actually the 10th. Passover the 10th and Feast of Unleavened Bread the 11th. March 10th we had it. So the calendar, the date you got is probably a month ahead, like April, right?
Yes, it said April 10th.
Boom, April 10th. See, it's a month ahead because they're following off of the equinox. So yeah, that was a month later.
Okay. Second question: the fringe of the tassels. Scripture, what it says in Numbers, 25. I'm not sure, but it
30,
was
38, or 15 to 38.
Yeah, 15 to 38. It's about how we're supposed to wear the fringes around the borders of our clothing. And then in Deuteronomy 22:12, it says the four corners of our borders.
Yeah, so you're asking about like how some brothers have the fringes around their whole shirt, and then some will wear like the little tassels on the corners, right?
Correct.
That's an interesting question. Now, because those are two different words, Numbers 15 and 38, and the one in Deuteronomy, those are two different words there. So it's almost like there were two different styles that were deemed as acceptable for use. As far as archaeology, all the archaeology of ancient Israel that's depicted shows the fringes around the whole thing, like how you see brothers have it around their whole shirt. It doesn't show the tassel style fringes, but it does say what it says in Deuteronomy. And going back to Judges 5 and 11, us rehearsing the righteous acts, I would, brothers who wear the tassels on the side, I would also view that as, acceptable and, supplemental. I know brothers who do it, and I don't think there's a huge problem with that, especially because if you could get, a lot of people have like the clip-on tassels, so then, it's a little bit more convenient, that way you ain't got to get all your clothes necessarily sold, but you could just clip those on and you have them there as a reminder of the law.
So you can wear the tassel.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Fine. Okay.
All right, sis. All right, Con. See you next week, Lord willing. Or shalom. All right, 507. Go ahead, shoot, sis.
So, I live in an apartment community where it's a lot of, Judah, children of Judah, and some Mexicans as well. And I've noticed that since we came over here, my children, my daughter and I, and my mother and myself, we wrap our hairs when we go out. We wear our skirts and things like that. And it's starting to wear off on the younger children around here, the girls. Even the little gay boy over here, which I pulled to the side last night and kind of just instructed him, like, you know why we wear our hair like this, right? You do understand that this is for women. These are our customs. He thought we were Muslim, and when I told him we were Hebrews, he's like, oh, y'all Israelites, and then ran off. But with the other little girls, my children don't associate with the children around here, but considering that they are seeing us and we're being a light and they're picking up on things even though they don't understand why or what we're doing it for, what would you recommend in regards to giving them a little bit more understanding of who they are?
I would tread carefully as to not alarm any parents, you know what I mean? Because some people could just flip out, you know what I'm saying? But
right,
you're in the right mindset. It's beautiful that you are being that light, and kind of continue to be that light. And if you send the kids out to play with them, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially with these holidays coming up around. I know it's July now, but we got Halloween coming up in a couple months. We got Thanksgiving. We got Christmas. Especially around that time, if you send them kids out and them kids get to talk about these holidays, and your kids is around there, these kids, and they start talking about these holidays with disdain, like, we don't celebrate Halloween. You see what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. Those types of jewels or those types of seeds that you're planting in them kids' minds, they could definitely grow into something. You see what I'm saying? So continue to be the light and, maybe be a little bit more hands-on, not too much, but drop those gems and plant those seeds where you can. You know what I mean?
Okay. Thank you.
No problem, Sis Solomon. All right, 216. Go ahead.
Shalom. This is I'm Kira from Cleveland. I just had a question about what's the ideal way that you would just suggest for a woman to combat like people that are not in the truth, that constantly come at you with lies, or like how do you expect us to spread the truth? Like respectfully.
Through asking questions. The best way to do it as a woman is to ask questions. It's to ask somebody to teach you, but you just have to know how to ask the right questions that are going to cause these people to hit brick walls and confound themselves. That's the best way to do it, and it's just a very humble and subtle way. Ask them the questions that they're not going to have the answers to, or the answer to the question is going to automatically expose the falsehood in their argument. You see what I'm saying? So
right, okay.
That's kind of the thing that you acquire over time, but that's the most ideal way for you to really combat it. As opposed to arguing or, teaching or anything like that. Ask them to teach you, but then they're going to realize that they don't have the necessary knowledge and skills to teach you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Perfect.
And then I have another question, too. So in Matthew 5 and 31 and 32, when it says, like a person, when they're divorced and they
cannot like commit adultery, or like if they meddle and that's adultery even when they're divorced? Like, can you explain that a little more?
Well, what that's talking about, I believe. Let me see. You said 30. Let me make sure.
You want me to get it? I can get it if you want.
Go ahead, get it real quick.
All right,
I know I'm talking about the right
Matthew
scripture.
chapter 5. All right, Con. We're gonna start at why is it not giving me the KJV option? 1 second, 2 seconds. 2 seconds actually. Matthew. Did you say 5, sis?
That's correct. 5, 31, and 32.
Who's this, Kiara?
Yes.
Shalom, sister.
Shalom.
I know that voice from anywhere already. Okay, so verse 31. Let's start at 31. It says, "It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery."
Boom. So what that's saying is, number one, because if she a man and a woman, when you take a woman, a wife, you have sex with a woman, that's supposed to be your wife forever. So if you put her away, unless you put her away because she committed fornication, which means she could have been committing adultery, or as the brother asked about earlier, let's say the sister was did some other form of fornication, unlawful sex act like homosexuality or something like that, you have the right to put her away for that. But if you don't put her away from that, for that rather, you are basically causing her to commit adultery. Why? Because what is she going to do? She's going to go out and get with another man, and that man is going to be an adulterer. Why? Because he's with a woman who has a husband, right? That's why Christ also said, Yahweh also said, this is a wicked and adulterous generation. Because in actuality, each and every one of us damn near, unless we're virgins, are adulterers.
Very true.
Makes sense? So,
Thank you so much.
No problem, sis. You had so much you want to add on that, D?
I was just going to say, it's crazy how one decision can put 3 people's lives at jeopardy. The man who unlawfully put away his woman, and then her for marrying that next man. And he, in turn, he might not even know about this man she left. So he's obliviously doing this, and now is worthy of capital punishment, basically.
Yeah, that's part of the importance of understanding grace in this situation. Because us not having this knowledge, we may not be held accountable for things like that. But now that we're in the knowledge, we have to be able to make sure that we're making very conscious and careful decisions in marriage. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that this is a permanent and a lifetime decision that we're making. But to answer your question, sis?
Yes, that answers my question.
Okay, perfect. All right. With that, we're going to say all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and catch y'all back next week, Lord willing, where we're going to go do a spotlight on the sister Abigail. You got anything, Deke?
Nah.
Okay, Con.
Great class, great lesson.
All praise. Continue in Judith, and also try to get in 2 Kings, the 11th chapter, if you can, in Shalom.